Since many of you have requested some more materials about negative harmony, here is another portion of one of our courses on negative harmony, how to translate major and minor chord structures into the negative world and vice versa. So I hope you find this very useful, and I hope that it will help you get to fantastic musical results. Let's jump right into this. When we want to talk about negative harmony, really, we have to have a tonal center. That is our point of reference, and we have to define that point of reference first. In this line right here, example 1a, we just want to talk about triads over the tonal center. So we've picked the note C as our tonic, and for no real reason, really, we've just picked the C major triad. I want to give you a shortcut, and that is, whenever you see a major triad, it becomes a minor triad over the respective negative root tone. That is what you have to have in mind. So when we have a structure over our tonal center, which is the note C, then you have to know, actually, the triad only flips from major to minor when we go to negative harmony, or the other way around. Our tonal center, the root tone, which is our tonal center, does not change. One thing that I want to point out, there is no shift between the treble structure against the root tone. When we look at this structure, at this triad here, and if we looked at the what we call the OI, the outside interval, okay, that is the bottom note and the top note, then we see that this OI creates a distance of 7. 7 is a very powerful number. That is why we refer to this number as the magic number. And funnily enough, this OI doesn't change when we flip to the negative side, okay? That is one of the advantages, really, of staying in the position of the fifth. If we had other positions, we can still translate these structures into negative harmony, but there is no shortcut anymore. Let me go to this example 1b down here. And this is still using the tonal center of C, and on top we just build some basic major and minor triads. I know that this guy here, it's not really a major or a minor triad, but it's a diminished triad. And this is treated a bit special, so I don't want to go into equivalence right now. Okay, let's stick to major and minor triads. Now, when we take this first line here at bar 5, and let's translate the whole thing into negative harmony. So we've already learned that our tonal center doesn't change. Okay, so the C, the note C right here, this stays the note C. Okay, so that is quite easy. Then let's do the root tones first. The only thing that changes is the direction. So for example, right here, take this starting point, okay, the note C. That's our tonal center. We have defined this already, and this doesn't change. So the next scale step that we are picking right here is the scale step number 2. That's in the note D in the bass. So in order to get to the negative pendant, we have to get to the B flat, because the B flat is 2 chromatic steps apart from the note C, but in the opposite direction. So this was our starting point. The distance to the tonal center is 2 up. So in order to get to the negative root tone, the distance has to be 2 down. The same is true for all of the notes here. So this note E, this is 4 above the tonal center. So in order to get to our respective negative pendant, we have to go down by 4. And this leads us to A flat. So this is how we get to the negative tones. They all share the same gravitation to the root tone, but from the opposite direction. Now, let's just look at the treble structures here for a second. And having this shortcut here in mind, that every major triad becomes minor over the respective root tone, every minor triad becomes major.
So let's see. This little C major right here, this is the example from above. Obviously, this becomes a C minor triad. So the D root tone, this has a D minor triad above. So we've already determined the negative root tone to D, and that is B flat. So what we have to do now is simply flipping the triad over this negative root tone from minor to major. That is why we have a B flat major triad right here. So on the E, our original triad is minor, which means on the respective negative root tone, it becomes major. This one is major, so guess what? On the negative side, it becomes a minor triad. And so on. It's really just a complementary thing of major and minor. And this is how you get to these structures. For this demonstration here, we have picked the key of C major. But in fact, we could have used any notes, any triads. It's really just about counting the distance and then flipping that distance over so that we get to the negative root tone. So it's a very handy shortcut.
If you want to get a full understanding of how negative harmony works using interval theory, then please check out musicintervaltheory.academy. And please don't forget to grab your free Composer's Toolkit. All the info and the link in the description below. So this was Frank. Have a wonderful day. Bye.